Ross Peterson, I wish I could say I was surprised. I'm not surprised. Here we thought Iowa was going to win. Kentucky drives late, scores a touchdown, escapes the Citrus Bowl with a 20-17 win over the Hawks.
Go back to our third quarter conversation, Travis, and you talked about that time of possession. And we said, hey, as Hawkeye fans, we're kind of used to being on the other edge of this and using that to our advantage. In that fourth quarter, you can just push on these other teams when you've been out there on the field that long. It's exactly what happened. And then a couple of huge mistakes by Spencer Petras. I'm really confused. I think this will be a night we'll probably get some Spencer Petras conversations and phone calls and some Alex Padilla talk. I'm really confused, Travis, as to why why Spencer Petras was a game time decision. Why we heard, you played the audio in our pregame of Coach Ferentz saying this is a really close quarterback competition. Spencer Petras did not play fantastic today. He's not the reason they lost. He made a couple mistakes at the end of the game that hurt him a lot. I guess what I'm just confused by is he didn't play great, and the offense needed something, and you never went to that backup, Alex Padilla, who's sitting there. There's a couple things to blame this on. Obviously, the first one is you couldn't get the defense off the field all game long. I mean, when you're out there for 40 minutes of a game, that sucks. The play calling, there's some obvious issues there, and the weird thing is you see these hints of it in this game. You see them come out there and run some no huddle. You see them come out there and go to these old plays that worked against Penn State that were wide open again. So that play basically is 2 for 2. There's a lot of frustration from this game, but I am, even though at the end of the third quarter we saw this coming, dude. The way that played out, that's a gut punch. That sucked.
It really did, and it's just hard to comprehend. This is going to be an interesting offseason coming up, right? I mean, you're going to have the Alex Padilla talk. You're going to have the Spencer Petras talk. Listen, you're not going to win championships with Spencer Petras. You're not. This offense is not built to win championships. This offense is built to go 8, 9, occasionally 10 wins, right? And that's what that offense is going to give you. But it's not built to win championships. It's not built to, when you get to the football back with 2 minutes to go, to march down the field and win you a football game. And
dude, this is going to sound weird. I hate to say this as it's coming out of my mouth, because I want more than anything for the Hawkeyes to win.
I know you do. But
you know what I'm thinking? I want just as much as the Hawkeyes to win is to have fun watching these games. It's not that fun to watch this team. The offense, even in moments when it works well, you get this fleeting hint of like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's what this is like.
Jesse frustrating says, day. Petras is the reason we lost. He didn't have to throw a 30-yard pass at the end of the game to try and tie and win. Dane says, Kirk hates his son's offense so much that he'd rather just trust the D not to give up 75 yards than to try to let him gain 1 yard. Granted, it worked for most of the year. It worked, but see, and Dane, and I know Dane personally, and Dane's a good guy. And he's right, it worked for most of the year. But it's not going to work. It will never win you championships. It just won't. It'll get you 7, 8, 9, occasionally 10 wins a year. And the schedule is fairly, favorable, right?
And the only thing I would say to Dane, and we say this a lot whenever we talk about Brian, I don't think Kirk Ferentz hates this offense. I think this is what we've seen from Kirk Ferentz offense for 20 plus years.
Yep.
In fact, I push back on the idea that what we're seeing is Brian Ferentz offense. It's not. It's Kirk Ferentz offense.
Look at our good buddy Corey Lathrop. Just another example of Iowa making football way harder than it should be. That's a good way to put it. Making football harder than what it should be. Defensive special teams basically have to be perfect in order to win games. And he's right? I mean, they had to get a 4th down stop. And then that interception came. You're thinking, okay, here's where it happens. They win 20. They win 17-13. But again, you're gassed. If you're on the field 37 minutes, you're gassed.
Yeah, Corey's right. The defense played really, really good today. The special teams was good, right? I mean, what they're supposed to be.
Padilla's gone to the portal already. Not yet, but it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me anymore. We live in the wild, wild west of college football right now, folks.
I wouldn't be surprised if Spencer Petras went into the portal. I mean, I'm with you. Nothing will surprise me.
No, it's absolutely unbelievable.
We did avoid a major catastrophe there with Tyler Linderbaum, man.
Yes.
When he went down with that foot, I'm sure all of Hawkeye Nation was gasping for a second, man, because that would have been a tragic moment. And it would just reiterated the thing of what are we doing out here? Why are we playing this exhibition? And this kid that's going to be a millionaire in a couple months is out there risking everything.
So Iowa loses the Big Ten championship in dramatic fashion, just getting pounded by Michigan, goes to the Citrus Bowl. And I know some people are going to say, well, it's a bowl game. You know, Sean, because Notre Dame's getting beat, goes, it's a bowl game. If it's your team, it feels different, doesn't it? If it's your team, you want to go out and win this thing. You want to end the season with a victory. I guarantee Mark Stoops likes ending with a victory.
The feeling in the offseason is very different, coming off of getting embarrassed in the Big Ten title by a team that then went on to get embarrassed in the college football playoff, and then losing to Kentucky in the fashion that was lost here.
Unbelievable. So here's what's coming up, folks. The Iowa postgame show on News Radio 1040 WHO will take you right up until probably close to 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, Ross, myself, and Sean Roberts will hit the airways on News Radio 1040 WHO with the Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off. We are on the air until 8 o'clock tonight. 515-284-1040 is the number to call. We are expecting a lot of offense calls tonight. We're expecting a lot of Spencer Petras calls tonight.
Brian Ferentz. And I guarantee there will be some Kirk Ferentz calls as well. And there will be. And I mean, Travis, a real conversation to have. And we don't have these conversations throughout the year because they're pointless. There is one show a year where we can actually have a real conversation about Kirk Ferentz' tenure, Kirk Ferentz' legacy, the future of Kirk Ferentz. We're on the final holes. I mean, are we teeing off on 18? Or did we just put in on 17? We're pretty close to the end of this fun ride that we've had with Coach Kirk Ferentz. And this is the one show a year at the end of the year where I don't mind actually kind of contemplating that stuff with listeners and talking about what this has meant or what this does mean. Look at the schedule next year, Ross.
South Dakota State, that's not a gimme. Not a gimme. You got Iowa State. You got Nevada, a bowl team this year. Then you got at Minnesota, finished with 9 wins. You got Michigan, at Purdue, at Ohio State, Northwestern, Rutgers, Illinois. That's nasty.
Keep that up for 1 second for me, Trav. I'm just trying to do a real quick run through on that.
Yes.
I do like you're playing Iowa State at Kinnick.
Yeah.
And we pronounce it Nevada in Iowa, by the way.
Okay.
1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Man, an 8-win season is going to be a good year next year.
Yeah. I mean, if right now, if Vegas came out right now and put the over-under wins at 8, what would you take? Seriously, I would take the under.
If you made me bet it, I'd bet the under on that. Yeah. But honestly, I think if it were at 7.5, I would take the over.
Yeah, but that's not a pretty schedule next year.
No,
by
that's a tough one.
Any means. Man.
Tough one, man. Tough day to day. We're going to have a banger of a show, though, because we have so much material that came out of that game. From the response we're getting here, I can tell people are fired up. And
I have a feeling I may have screwed up, and Ross is part of this, is that I actually had our broadcast ready to go. The score may be wrong because I had to adjust late. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting there going, oh, my God, how are we going to – so I had set this up when they went up, and I don't know what it said, and everybody's let me know.
Lost falls on Trav.
Way to go, Trav. You know what it was. You jinxed it.
I jinxed it. I apologize for that.
It was all you. It had nothing to do with Spencer Petras. It had nothing to do with play calling. It was you.
Merlin is a good friend of mine. He's a former broadcaster, and I've worked with Merlin a lot. I like this assessment. There's a self-imposed ceiling for the Hawks with their offense and their philosophy and the ongoing quality of quarterback play. Not a Hawk fan, but I can imagine how frustrating it is to be one.
What a name. That's an awesome name.
He's a good dude, man. He's one of the best. And
that's a great take, by the way. He's absolutely right. The self-imposed ceiling comes from Kirk Ferentz, in my opinion. And I love Coach Ferentz. that's a really good take from a guy that's not a Hawkeye fan, because that's exactly how I feel. But Merlin, the really hard part for me as a Hawkeye fan is I love Kirk Ferentz. The guy has done amazing things at Iowa, and he wins football games. It's just not like it's not done in a fun fashion. And I know that seems like such a first world problem to go, hey, we're winning 10 games, but I'm not winning the 10 the way I want to win them.
Hey, remember this when you went for it on 4th and 1 and you failed? You know what that field goal does for you right now? You're in overtime. Now, hindsight's 20/20. You don't know at that point of the game, but I would say most times you try to get points at that situation, don't you? Don't you try to get points there?
I mean, Travis, we could talk about several fourth down. In fact, we'll probably get phone calls on a couple of those different fourth downs. Or was it the one that was we'll say fourth down. Because remember, the Hawks lined up to go for it on 4th and 1 before punting with just a couple minutes left there. And it looked like they were going to rush out there and try to do something. Kentucky put all 11 guys up against the line, and then the Hawks just went up and did that hard count thing and didn't actually snap the football. We're going to have people that are going to be mad that they didn't go for it there, and we're going to have people that are mad that they did go for it on the 4th down when they had the ball in the red zone. And that, of course, would have made an impact on the actual scoreboard. Yeah. In the moment, I was happy with both calls. In the moment, I was glad that the Hawks went for it on 4th when they were pushing, because I didn't think they were going to be able to get the ball in the end zone. And then at the end of the game, I thought the right thing to do was to punt that ball away. I was a little bit nervous when they rushed up there to the line. But hindsight, man, I was wrong on both. Brian Ferentz was wrong on both.
So we will see you or hear from you tonight on News Radio 1040 WHO starting in about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit sooner. If you listen on the iHeartRadio app, you will not hear sound off until the Iowa Network is off the air, just to let you know, because the Iowa Network is not on the iHeartRadio app. If you do listen on the app, just keep listening because we'll pop up eventually. You can hear us also on the traditional terrestrial radio waves at 1040 a.m., and we're on the HD channel in Des Moines on the bus, 100.3 HD2, something like that. He's Ross Peterson. We're looking forward to a fun night of radio. We're here. We're therapy for you. All right. We're here to let you vent.
I mean, you're not going anywhere else. Look outside.
Yeah, I mean, look outside. You go pour yourself a stiff drink.
It's gotten even worse, dude. Look at this.
Has it? Oh my God. Oh. Thank God you just got that new 4x4 down there.
That old Jeep Commander going to do just fine in the snowstorm. Bring it on, Mother Nature.
Commander Ross. Commander Ross is what we call him. So, again, we're going to start about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit sooner, on News Radio 1040 WHO. For Ross Peterson, for Sean Roberts, you see walking back there because he's panicking over Notre Dame. We'll see you tonight and hear from you tonight.
So people can get an idea. This is what we deal with on Saturdays.
Look at he's pacing back and forth, and he'll just say it's just a bowl game, but yet he's pacing. I'm
pacing because I'm bored.
You're bored.
He's pacing because he's bored, not because it's 34-28. I don't think we can show those. I feel like if I show that broadcast, we break some rule.
All right, everybody. We'll see you tonight and talk to you tonight on the Jethro's Bar.